unveiling the psychological traps of gamblers to apply for effective investing. Today, I will take you into the lavish world of casinos to learn about professional gamblers, the ones who can win 100 battles out of 100 there. What secrets do they actually hold? Are you curious? But please note, my purpose is not to encourage gambling, but through analyzing the following psychological tactics to help us maintain clarity in all aspects of life, thereby making smarter decisions. Whether you are interested in psychology or wish to improve your decision-making skills in work and life, this video will bring you valuable advice. Imagine when you push open the heavy doors of a casino. Striking your eyes is a magnificent scene and bustling sounds. Slot machines sparkling with captivating lights, cheers ringing out from the roulette table, crowds bustling around the blackjack tables. The surrounding atmosphere is full of tension and excitement. It seems like a parallel world separate from reality, where everyone craves to become rich amidst the excitement. However, in this place seemingly full of opportunities, the number of people who truly strike it rich in the long run is very few. According to statistics from the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, over 80% of players will leave in a losing state. Even more surprisingly, a study on gambling addicts showed that about 85% admitted they had chased losses, meaning continuing to gamble to recover the lost money. So what enables a few people to stand firm in this brutal game of probability, while the majority end up empty-handed? The answer lies deep within human nature and the way we think. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to learn more truths about money and help you quickly achieve financial freedom. The Art of Wealth Fortune welcomes you all. In this content, we will analyze deeper into the psychological traps that players often fall into, how professional players avoid these traps and use unique psychological tactics to win money from the house in the long run. More importantly, we will learn how to apply this knowledge to daily life to improve our decision-making abilities. First, let's analyze the psychological traps that players often encounter. These traps not only exist in casinos, but also appear everywhere in our daily lives. Understanding the operating principles of these traps will help us perceive ourselves more clearly and avoid making mistakes when making important decisions. First is the trap called optimism bias. Have you ever heard of beginner's luck? Many people stepping into a casino for the first time believe they are lucky. This phenomena in psychology is called optimism bias. A study conducted by psychologist Weinstein showed that students' subjective estimates of thesis completion time differed from reality by about 30%. And this excessive optimism is even more evident in the casino. Another example, research shows that 68% of lawyers in civil cases believe the side they represent will win. But in reality, the win rate is only 50%. In the casino, this overconfidence can make you lose bigger. Imagine when you just walk into a casino, seeing everyone around cheering happily when winning money, and you think that if they can win, you certainly can too. As a result, you soon become bankrupt. This is the danger of optimism bias. Second is the phantom profit trap, i.e. sunk cost fallacy. Now imagine you have lost 10 million VND. What will you do at this point? Do you want to bet one more round to recover the lost money? If you thought so, congratulations, you have fallen into the trap called phantom profit. This mistake is like an invisible whirlpool dragging players deeper into the cycle of chance. The money lost is like spilt milk. We should make new decisions rationally, instead of being obsessed with past losses. Nobel Prize-winning economist Richard Thaler conducted an interesting experiment. He gave volunteers 2 lottery tickets of different values. One was gifted and one had to be purchased. Then he asked them to choose to give up one of the 2 tickets. The results showed that people tended to discard the free ticket instead of the one they bought themselves, even though the probability of winning with the purchase ticket was lower. And this is also called phantom profit. Another more typical example in life: you bought a movie ticket, but halfway through realized the movie was very boring. At this point, will you choose to continue watching or leave? Many people will choose to stay because they paid for the ticket, but in reality, leaving to find another pleasure would be better than wasting time continuing to watch the movie. The third trap is called probability delusion, the gambler's fallacy. Have you ever noticed the big screens displaying results in casinos? They aren't placed there by coincidence. Humans tend to speculate on the next result through a series of previous random results, and this is called probability delusion.
For example, if the roulette wheel lands on red 5 times in a row, you might think the probability of black appearing next will be higher. But the truth is that the result of each spin is an independent event, and the previous result is unrelated to the next spin's result. Fourth is the trap called illusion of control. Players often have the illusion that they can control or influence the outcome of the game. Most people often place their trust in a certain object or event, something that can help them get what they want. For example, most people will wear red at the beginning of the year because they believe red can bring them luck. There are also people who, when buying lottery tickets, choose tickets with numbers considered lucky for them. Psychologist Ellen Langer conducted an interesting experiment. She asked volunteers to play a card game with a person whose facial expression looked very nervous. The results showed that when the opponent looked nervous, the participants felt they had a higher chance of winning, even willing to bet bigger. This shows that humans tend to overestimate their ability to control outcomes. There was another study where participants were asked to choose between pressing or not pressing a button, then playing a pre-recorded sound. Many participants believed that their action of pressing the button caused the sound to be played, even though the sound was actually played randomly. This illusion of control can make players more confident in their abilities, pushing gamblers to increase their bets. In life, this kind of illusion can also make us overestimate our influence on major issues. For instance, thinking that oneself has outstanding characteristics and a great mission towards a certain group. Fifth is the trap called selective memory. Humans tend to remember the satisfying feeling of winning and forget or even reduce the feeling of disappointment from losses. This selective memory leads players to have a distorted awareness of their performance, often overestimating their winning frequency and money won. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman mentioned this in his book, Thinking, Fast and Slow. He explained that our brain operates according to 2 systems. System 1 is fast and automatic thinking, while System 2 is slow and deep thinking. Selective memory is often a product of System 1. It automatically filters out unhappy memories and keeps only happy ones.
For example, a certain person recounted his gambling experience last week. He said he won a big hand, earning 5 million Viet Dong dollars, but he completely forgot that he lost a total of 10 million Viet Dong dollars to win that amount. This phenomenon is also quite common in daily life. For instance, we often only remember the beautiful moments of a vacation and forget the unpleasant things during that trip. Selective memory, while helping us maintain a positive mood, can also cause us to make wrong decisions. Once again, I emphasize that the purpose of this video is to discuss psychological principles and apply them to decision-making, not to encourage gambling. Gambling can cause serious financial and psychological consequences. Therefore, we strongly recommend everyone to stay away from gambling and only apply these insights to meaningful decisions in life. So do you wonder how professional players escape these traps and make long-term money from casinos? Let's explore their psychological tactics. First thing, must maintain rationality. Professional players are like economists. They understand probability and statistics well and are not affected by short-term winning or losing results. Even facing a losing streak, they remain calm because they know that as long as they follow the right strategy and persist, they will win. The MIT Blackjack team is a prime example. This group of students from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology used precise mathematical models to earn millions of dollars in the 90s. Their success was not based on luck, but on a deep understanding of probability and patience. For example, in blackjack, professional players often apply basic strategy, a strategy based on optimal probability calculation. Even if they lose consecutively, they will still maintain this strategy because they understand that in the long run, this strategy will bring maximum profit. This rational thinking ability is not only useful in casinos, but also in fields like investment and business. A typical example is quantitative trading on Wall Street. Traders use complex mathematical models to analyze the market and make trading decisions unaffected by short-term market fluctuations. Second thing, must have strict financial management. Have you ever heard rumors about gamblers losing their family fortune? A professional player will never let that happen to them. They always set a clear budget for each session, and whether they win or lose, they strictly adhere to it.
For example, they might set a daily loss limit of 1% of their total capital. When reaching this limit, whether winning or losing, they will immediately stop and leave the casino. This is like an insurance measure for themselves. Famous gambling master Johnny Chan mentioned in his autobiography that he never brings credit cards into casinos, only cash with a carefully calculated budget. It is this strict self-control that helps him make long-term profits in casinos. This financial management strategy can also be applied in our daily lives. For instance, setting a stop-loss limit in investment can help control risks effectively. When shopping, setting a budget limit and adhering to it can prevent wasteful spending. Warren Buffett once said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." This is a smart way of financial management, helping us think contrarian and control risks. Third thing, must know how to control emotions. A casino is where people experience a myriad of emotional fluctuations. However, you will never see professional players lose control of their emotions. Whether winning big or losing heavily, they remain calm, and this emotional control is one of their most powerful weapons. In the famous book, Emotional Intelligence, psychologist Daniel Goleman pointed out that EQ is often more important than IQ in determining a person's success. Professional players are prime examples of people with high emotional intelligence. In a famous psychological experiment called the marshmallow test, researchers gave each child a marshmallow and told them if they could resist eating it for 15 minutes, they would get a second one.
The results showed that children who could control their cravings were often more successful in their later studies and careers. Similarly, in the casino, players who can control their emotions can make rational decisions and avoid mistakes caused by impulsivity. For example, when experiencing a losing streak, players often feel frustrated and increase their bets, hoping to recover capital, leading to bigger losses. But professional players will calmly analyze and persistently pursue the defined strategy. This ability to control emotions is not only important in casinos, but also in life. Whether facing pressure at work or handling conflicts in relationships, keeping emotions stable helps us make smarter decisions.
Fourth thing is constant learning. A professional player never stops learning. They continuously study the rules, analyze data, and even develop their own algorithms to increase winning chances. For example, in the 1960s, mathematics professor Edward Thorpe developed card counting methods in blackjack, helping players gain an edge over the casino in certain situations. Although casinos have countermeasures today, this example shows the importance of continuous learning and innovation. Next is the legend Doyle Brunson. He not only mastered many poker styles, but also constantly learned psychology to better understand his opponents. He once said that poker is a game about people, not just a card game. In daily life, the habit of continuous learning is also extremely important. Whether in work or personal life, updating knowledge and skills will help us maintain a competitive edge. Famous writer Isaac Asimov once said, "Self-education is, I firmly believe, the only kind of education there is." Lifelong learning not only helps us adapt to the rapid changes of the world, but also keeps the brain flexible, avoiding cognitive decline. Research shows that continuously learning new knowledge and skills helps strengthen neural connections and improve cognitive abilities. Fifth thing, must be realistic about the casino's advantage. A professional player understands clearly that the house always has an advantage. Therefore, they choose games that offer the smallest edge to the house. For example, in roulette, the payout for betting on a single number is 1/35th, but the actual probability is 1/37th. And this difference is the casino's advantage. Professional players avoid high-risk bets with low returns and choose games with less house edge. In blackjack, using basic strategy can suppress the casino's edge to about 0.5%. Some professional players even use card counting techniques to gain an edge in some cases, although this method is banned in many casinos. This shows the importance of situational awareness and exploiting advantages. Famous poker player Daniel Negreanu once said, "Don't just look at your cards, look at the whole table." This quote demonstrates the comprehensive thinking of a smart player. In real life, this way of thinking is also very useful. For example, when choosing investment products, we need to understand the risks and returns of each product, thereby selecting those with controllable risks and stable returns.
In business negotiations, grasping the advantages and weaknesses of both sides will help us build the strongest strategy. You might think, "I'm not familiar with gambling. These things are useless to me." But in reality, this psychological knowledge and these strategies can also be applied to our daily lives. Let's see how we can use these principles. In the stock market, many people also fall into similar psychological traps. Overconfidence can make you overestimate your stock-picking ability, and the phantom profit fallacy will make you unable to cut losses in time. Imagine you bought a stock, but its price starts dropping. You might think that you have invested too much in it, so wait a bit longer to see. This is a typical example of the phantom profit fallacy. The correct way is to be like professional players. Calmly analyze the current situation. If the outlook is bad, decisively cut losses. Famous investor Peter Lynch once said, "Knowing why you bought a stock is more important than knowing what stock you bought." This quote emphasizes the importance of rational analysis. At the same time, money management strategies can also be applied to stock investment. Establishing clear stop-loss limits and adhering to investment discipline are essential qualities of a successful investor. Warren Buffett's rule of never lose money is a prime example. In investing, continuous learning is also extremely important. The market environment is always changing. Only by constantly learning, updating new knowledge, and understanding new trends can you maintain an edge in investing. As Charlie Munger said, "All the smart people I met in my life from different fields, they all learn every day." Finally, one needs to realize that the market always has uncertainties, just like the casino always has an advantage. Therefore, diversifying investments and controlling risks become extremely important. This is also why many financial advisors encourage investors to establish a diverse investment portfolio. In work, we often have to make decisions. If you avoid being driven by emotions and maintain rationality, the quality of your decisions will improve significantly. For example, in project management, we often face the situation of deciding whether to continue a project when encountering difficulties.
At this time, one needs to be wary of the phantom profit fallacy. Don't cling on just because you think you have invested a lot of resources. Instead, be like a professional player. Calmly analyze the current situation and future prospects, then make a rational decision. Famous manager Peter Drucker once said, "Management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things." This quote emphasizes the importance of making accurate decisions at work. The emotional control ability of professional players is also extremely necessary in the work environment. When facing pressure, handling conflicts, or negotiating, staying calm can help us make better decisions. As former General Electric CEO Jack Welch once said, "Face reality as it is, not as it was or as you wish it to be." Besides, the attitude of continuous learning is also something we should learn in work. In this rapidly changing era, only learning new knowledge and skills helps us maintain a competitive advantage. LinkedIn founder Reid Hoffman once emphasized the importance of learning. Your greatest asset is your ability to learn continuously. Clearly realizing advantages is also extremely important in work. Understanding your own and your team's strengths and weaknesses will help you build the most effective work strategies. As legendary manager Peter Drucker once said, "The task of management is to make people's strengths effective and their weaknesses irrelevant." Even in personal life, these principles can help you. For example, don't continue maintaining an unhappy relationship just because you have invested too much in it. That is the phantom profit fallacy. Learn to analyze rationally and be decisive like professional players. Psychologist John Gottman discovered that for a relationship to succeed, the ratio of positive to negative interactions needs to be at least 5 to 1. This calculation is like calculating probability, helping us objectively evaluate the health of a relationship. In daily consumption, we can also learn from the money management strategies of professional players. Setting a budget and strictly adhering to it will help avoid uncontrolled spending and waste. Financial expert Dave Ramsey also suggests using the envelope budget method, which is very similar to how gamblers control their betting money. Similarly, the emotional control ability of professional players is also very useful in relationships. When facing conflict or pressure, keeping calm and rational can help us make right decisions and maintain good relationships.
As psychologist Daniel Goleman said in Emotional Intelligence, success in life comes 90% from emotional intelligence. The attitude of continuous learning is also very important in personal life. Constantly learning new knowledge and skills not only enriches life, but also increases confidence and improves quality of life. Remember, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. Clearly realizing one's own strengths and weaknesses, just like a professional player understands the casino's edge, can help us make smarter decisions in life. Philosopher Socrates once said, "Know thyself," and this is the key to achieving wisdom and happiness. Remember that, whether in a casino or in life, keeping yourself alert and maintaining strong self-control is truly the secret to winning. Did you know one of the greatest discoveries of life is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind? Hopefully, through today's sharing, you can maintain rationality when facing challenges in life and make smarter decisions. Finally, I want to end with an old casino proverb. Casinos don't need windows and clocks because they don't want you to know the time. So in life, don't forget to keep yourself alert and know how to control your own destiny. Thank you for watching today's content. If you find my content valuable, don't forget to share it with friends and family. Follow me to know more about the secrets of money. Goodbye and see you again.